Long vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all.
KBLA Talk 1580. We are your election information station, and we're doing our best to keep you informed. Tell a friend. Tell one of your friends that's not paying attention. If you haven't been paying attention, you're forgiven. All of the interviews that we have live wherever you get your podcasts. We've got candidates for judge, for city council, for mayor, and you can find them on YouTube. You can find them wherever you get your pods. They are absolutely free. We're being joined by one such candidate right now. He's running for mayor of Los Angeles. He says he was raised in Culver City, and he's running to become the youngest mayor in Los Angeles. He has a contracting company and says he wants to help rebuild Los Angeles. Misael Ortega, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. So you're a lifetime Angelino. You said your dad worked in Brentwood, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, and Bel Air, working with his hands and his heart, and you worked beside him doing, what were you doing?
That's correct. My dad, started a painting company in the 90s, and, obviously he worked with contractors, so he was a subcontractor and eventually got his own license and began to start working with people in that nice little region of Los Angeles and what we call West LA, right? And so he would take me to work with him when I was little, pick up the trash, all the stuff that painters don't want to do. Right.
So you were the helper.
Right.
And so from that, you started your own company. Now you're a contractor.
Correct. That's correct. Yep. And because of my father, usually when you work with people in these areas, they become mentors. And then once they become your mentors, they become family. And then from there, they try to like guide you to do better. They even give you jobs when you get older. Some of these people are like moguls, real estate guys, tycoons. And so there's a lot of work for us, for sure.
So you started your contracting company, and you said when the Palisades fire broke out, you saw your job site burn.
That's correct. There's actually 2 people running for office that are from Palisades that are running for mayor. It's Spencer Brad and me. The funny thing about
You're from Palisades?
Not from Palisades, but I was pretty much. Again, my mentors, my dad worked in Palisades.
You have Palisades ties.
I do, correct. My first contracting job as a licensed contractor was in Palisades. That was my first job. It was at Little Mermaid. It was on top of the village. And I remember as like it was yesterday, I get a call from one of my mentors, and it looks like there's a small little brush of fire that up on the hill, and he calls and says, hey, take a look at this. So I drive to Palisades. We take a look at the little fire, and next thing you know, give it about 3 or 4 hours. It's a big fire, and so we start evacuating. And so I can still remember from yesterday how everything was. And I remember Spencer Brad. I actually was with Spencer Brad when the fire started.
I think it's Pratt.
Well, I call him Brad because he looks like a Brad, but it's Spencer Brad.
Oh, that's a nickname. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the whole, the whole born wealthy thing applies. But so you said that that changed your perspective on the city, watching your job site burn. What do you mean by that?
Well, that and immigration kind of like made me run for office.
Okay, so let's tackle one at a time.
Yeah, sure.
Were you traumatized? Were you scared? Were you angry? Like, how did the job site burning change your view of LA?
It made me realize that LA wasn't equipped and ready, and they're not, the people that run the show are not, they're pretty much behind. We have so many smart people in LA.
I mean, but to be fair, who's ready for 100-mile-an-hour winds and embers flying everywhere? I don't think there's other cities may be more ready. They may have water in a reservoir. They may allow the fire. They may have a chief who deploys the trucks where they're meant to be deployed. But I don't know that there's any city in America that's ready for the blowtorch conditions that we had on January 7th.
Well, I think I'll say this: if you get hired from a job, right? Let's say you get hired from a job and your job is to make sure you take care of your position. You got to make sure what your position is, right? So if there's a high area of a risk of a fire, shouldn't you be like paying attention, like what if or this could happen into this region? And so I think if I
So you're saying the mayor wasn't paying attention?
But it's not even just the mayor; it's a lot of people involved, right? And so, like for an example, the I guess the chief of the fire department, right? If she's getting paid so much money, and she's realizing that there's no water in the hydrogens, and how can we keep the land warm and wet? Like, she should be thinking these things. She's getting paid a lot of money, so it's not just the mayor; it's a lot of people involved. And so I just think they tackled it wrong. I just think that they just didn't know what to do.
So what would you do different?
As someone as young that's involved in technology and AI, I probably would have built like a sprinkler system in these wet areas and probably water them every once a month. Or maybe,
the Palisades has sprinkler systems. I don't know if they're any match for a fire, though.
No. Well, I mean, these are just like examples. Another example would be like, kind of like take care, water your land every once a month, right? Mm-hmm. You're living by the ocean. Of course, you can't grab seawater, but we have technology, you can clear it, right? I mean, there's so many ways you can do. It's literally by the ocean. Just water once a month. That's it. It doesn't have to be every day. Just water it, wet it down, and then that solves a lot of problems. Or bring somebody from Silicon Valley, create a technology, and figure out how we can wet it down. It's really not that complicated. It's really simple.
Well, okay, we'll leave that there. You said immigration also changed your view of the mayor's race, the city actually itself. Right. What about it? What was it was there a personal incident? Was it watching the news?
Well, I say this to a lot of people, as a contractor, you work with a lot of migrants. And these guys are one of the most hardworking people that there is in the city, and they get taken advantage. I'm one of those people that have taken advantage when I was young to those immigrants, right? But you kind of create a bond with them, and it's funny because when I left Palisades because of the fires, I almost signed up to join the United States Military Air Force, and then I was right there joining the Air Force. And then ICE came to LA and started rounding up immigrants. And that's when I told my recruiter, and I said, hey, I think I'm going to leave and pursue another career. And he said, what are you going to do? Well, I think I want to run for office. I see a lot of people here getting harassed, deported. And obviously, like, if you're a criminal and you're a killer, fine, do it. But if you're just grabbing people off the streets with a mask, I mean, that's kind of scary, right?
Right. Okay. So a couple things out of what you just said. First of all, you've never held elected office, right?
No.
So why start with the mayor? Why not do school board, dog catcher, neighborhood council or something like that?
Because I was looking at debates a few days ago. They just had a debate with Karen Bass and a few of the candidates. The questions that were given these people were so easy, right? It was just common sense, right? And so my way of doing it is this: like, if you're going to run for council or a district, you don't have the power that the mayor does. The mayor has executive orders.
Even though our system is actually pretty executive weak, I mean, the city council does have a lot of power in this city.
No, it does. But it all relies on the mayor. The mayor is the CEO of the city, right? So the mayor has influence. City councils don't really have influence like the mayor does, right? They're just there to either approve or vote on some kind of, paperwork or whatever that they deny.
Well, they make policy.
No, I know they do, but it's not like the mayor though. The mayor is the chief. The mayor has control. It's power. She or he is the one that actually runs the city, And so I just say, look, if I'm gonna run for something big, why go to the bottom? Go all the way to the top, and figure out how you can help your city out. That's my way of thinking.
I got you. So you just wanted to start at the top. Do you have any concern that being mayor of a city of 4+ million people is harder than it looks?
Not really. I think it's really fun. I think it looks easy, right? But at the same time...
Yeah, but so do a lot of things. Tightrope walking looks easy too, but when you get up there and try it, it might not be so easy if you're not trained.
You just have to get the right people. We have so many young people in our university graduating every year with degrees. Why can't we put them in City Hall? Why does it always have to be the same old people in there, right? Like, for an example, you have a lot of these district. For an example, I have a lot of respect for current Price, Mr. Price. He runs his own district over here in South Central, right?
CD9, yeah.
Yeah, but have you actually gone to South Central? Have you seen Watts? Have you seen? I wouldn't
Me?
say no, just in general, just for the public.
Of course I have.
It is so bad. It
Really?
is,
Bad how?
Well, there's a lot of prostitution. There's a lot of legal dumping.
There's prostitution downtown,
but not
too.
like at Figueroa Street. There's a school called 61st Street and on Figueroa Street, and there's like a bridge right next to elementary school. And there's a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of burning. There's a lot of trash. There's prostitution.
Right. So low-income neighborhoods have problems. That's not breaking news.
Well, but it's not just. But for an example, that's what I'm saying. Like if I ran for someone like Mr. Price, and I want to get things done, I can't because I don't have the executive orders. I don't have the powers. Running for mayor, you don't even have to. You show up, and I promise you, it'll get done quick. And so, again, to me, I think this city is backwards. We need a lot of help in this city. Everything is run backwards here.
Misael Ortega Garcia thinks he can do it better. He's running for mayor of Los Angeles. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You can't fix what you won't face.
And we face it every day.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Bakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. Misael Ortega Garcia is here. He's a candidate to be mayor of Los Angeles, and you grew up in Culver City. Dad had a painting company, became a contractor, have a lot of clients in Palisades and friends and mentors in Palisades, so you feel connected to that. You say immigration changed your view of the city. The city's not doing enough to protect migrants, people that are not criminals from just being snatched off the streets. That's the feds, though. How would you stop that? We already have a sanctuary city law. Supposedly, the LAPD and the sheriff are not cooperating with ICE, even though they seem to be protecting them during protests and the like. So what would you do different? How would you protect migrants when it's actually a federal agency that is snatching folks up?
Again, this is all common sense. This is all basic, common sense here. I'll give you an example. If you have federal agents that are driving in unmarked cars with unlicensed plates that are not tags, California tags, what is one thing that the LAPD is going to do, or the sheriffs, or if you're in the highway patrol? They're going to pull you over. So LAPD wasn't really pulling over federal agent cars, even though they probably would have pulled me over if I didn't have any tags behind my car. And so I personally would have, commended the chief of LAPD to send more units in the streets and say, go tackle the cars that are, breaking the law.
But the LAPD won't do that.
Well,
and not unless you get a different chief. Would you advocate changing chiefs of police?
Well, I just think that, to be honest with you, I think LAPD and the chief don't have respect for our current mayor, to be honest.
What mayor have they ever had respect for?
Well, I'm just stating, we're talking
Give
about...
me an example of a mayor that the LAPD had respect for.
I just think, for an
Especially
example...
Especially a black mayor.
No, but for an example, and it's all mayors, it's not just her. I just think LAPD is looking for someone that is strong, that is willing to cooperate with them.
Strong
I think,
how?
Well,
strong in what
right
way?
now they're low in officers in recruitment, right? And they need money. They need a budget.
So what are the qualities that would make the LAPD respect a mayor?
I would say this: LAPD and the mayor, from what I'm seeing in my experience, from what I've been in the regions of Watts, South Central, and Crenshaw, is that LAPD doesn't have a lot of respect for the mayor, because the mayor kind of wants to, tit-tat with the LAPD, but it's all about budgets. It's all about finance.
So back to my question, would you change the chief of police?
Yes, I would.
You would change
I would change it, yeah. I would, and then I would say from there, start recruiting local and protecting the community instead of grabbing people from San Bernardino and Riverside and all these counties to come to take care of our community. That would be me. We need LAPD to connect with the people in these regions because, again, it's a lot of violence going on, a lot of killing.
Would you, generally police respond to violence. They don't do a lot of stopping in advance.
Well, they do, but for an hour, 2 hours.
They do what? I'm sorry?
They do response, but they take about an hour.
So,
in these regions, not in everywhere.
Right.
I've been campaigning around these regions in the roughest areas of LA, and they're telling me when they call the police, they don't even care, or they show up about an hour later.
Right.
You go to Culver City, they'll be there in 5 minutes.
They have their own police department.
Well, true, but I mean that's the problem with the disconnection with LAPD and the mayor, right? The mayor should make sure that the community is aware and loves LAPD, so does LAPD should love the community.
How can the mayor make sure that the community loves LAPD when shootings are up 70%? And you can tell me to love someone, but if they're killing my community, it's going to be a tough sell.
Well, who's killing them?
The cops. I'm talking about 70% increase in police shootings of civilians in the past year under Chief McDonnell. The mayor can say, love your cops all she wants to. The community's going to deal with the conditions on the ground.
But is there a reason why cops are shooting the community? I mean, are they just going
you
and
tell
shooting?
me.
No, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to form one formula and say, look, see, with me is I would reset the whole structure. I would start with a new chief, right? And then I would say, you know what, LAPD and the chief, I want you guys to recruit local people in the region and then hire them as the police to patrol your community. And then from there, we would eliminate the killing. We would eliminate police brutality, right? We don't need people from San Bernardino, Riverside, people that don't grow up with this mentality that people live over here. That would be me. So I would have to restruct and start from reset all over again, you know? But I do support law and order. I do support law and order, and I believe that if we give money to LAPD, that they should also invest in the community. Go to Watts. There's some areas in Watts in the projects, and I hate the term projects because it's so bad. I kind of want to rename them townhomes because projects to me just sounds disgusting. There are recreation parks that are not built yet for the kids in these little in the. I was again in the projects, and they're charging $50,000-$60,000 to create a little basketball, like a little court, $50,000-$60,000. So if LAPD is getting all the money and they're being funded, shouldn't they also fund a little bit of the projects like recreation parks?
But why put the LAPD in charge of doing rec and parks? Isn't that the job of rec and parks? I mean, the criticism that many activists, and myself included, have is that the LAPD takes up about 50% of or more of our discretionary funds. So now they're the mental health agency. Now they're the Rec and Parks Committee. Now they're the houseless agency. Does that make sense?
We need law and order in this city.
So
right?
You don't agree that we should shift money out of the LAPD budget?
No, I agree that if LAPD is going to get funded by City Hall with the big budget, they should do their part and help the community, right? Look, I'll give you an example. Palisades, Culver City, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, they have one thing in common. Rodeo Drive.
They're rich.
The city?
True.
But the city and the police, they have one connection. They have one connection.
Well,
and we want to do that.
If, in fact, police are more tending to protect property than people, of course they're going to have a better relationship with property
owners.
owners.
Saying. This is what I'm saying. Recruit local and protect local. Meaning we have to recruit people in our region in order to protect our community. And I think LAPD is going to love that because, again, they're right now and they're losing officers right now. And they want more. I've seen enough of the streets. And I keep saying this, I'm the only candidate that's campaigning in Watts, Crenshaw, South Central. And it's really bad.
But you're not from Watts. You're not from South Central. You're not from our community.
Correct.
So why are you over here? Wouldn't it make sense for you to be building from your base in Culver City and the Palisades?
Not really, because LA isn't just Palisades. LA covers Watts, South Central, and Crenshaw.
Oh yeah, I'm clear on that.
And San Pedro and San Fernando and East LA. And so I want to go where people are hurting the most. I want to go where people need jobs, opportunities. Look, there's no restaurants in Watts, like a nice, beautiful restaurant. All they have is fast food. There's so many liquor stores. So
what would you do about that?
I would eliminate half of the liquor stores in Watts.
You mean kind of like Karen Bass did over here in South LA?
I would say this. I would eliminate a lot of liquor stores, and I would convert them either into deli markets. That would be my number one.
Okay.
Right? And number two.
Okay. And number two? Sorry.
Number two, I would bring the largest farmers market in these communities, the largest you've ever seen, because these people here have no hope. These people here are literally like in a bubble, walking around like just thinking that this is
the question is how. How do you do that? People have been talking about how these are food deserts and we don't have the restaurants, we don't have the development dollars, but how is the question? How do you do it?
Executive orders. This is all clear. The mayor has powers.
You can executive order
yes.
a market to be built and function.
Well, look. Here's the thing. Even if because I will go to court to get these done. That's mandatory. I would have to answer the city.
Who do you sue to make force a market to exist?
Well, look, I would say this, and it's very simple. Look, if one of my executive orders is to tell rent owners that are renting these property owners, hey, either convert or change, right? And if they say no, great. Then we'll compete with them.
Yeah,
simple.
That is very similar to what Mayor Bass did when she was the head of the community. But she's not competing. But I'm just saying what you're talking about is a blueprint that she created in Community Coalition, where they pressured businesses. Some converted to laundromats and other operations.
But it's still bad, though.
I'm not saying the question is solved, but what I'm saying is I don't know how you force a grocery store to operate Anyway, Denise is in the chat. She wants to. She's asking, why are you wearing shades in the studio?
It's because of the lights. The lights reflect a little bit on my eyes a little bit. It gets a little watery. So I brought these here as well. But I just, with these.
All right, Denise. Now you got to.
I don't got cricket eyes.
You got to see his eyes. And Carl Tucker is asking what you would do, and we only have a minute here, so we may have to address it on the other side of news, traffic, and sports. What you would do about the grid program here in the city of Los Angeles?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk, right? But I think he's got some really good ideas.
Elon Musk? Okay.
Elon Musk, yeah. I think there was a proposal where he wanted to do something with the 405, right? Build underground tunnels to eliminate the grid, the traffic. Is that?
Oh, no, we're talking about gang reduction and youth development. The gang reduction youth development department.
Okay, I would say this: build more recreation parks, build contracting jobs, trade jobs, influence them in the community so that people can start learning how to a trade, especially for the Black community. And then I would also, again, with the police, I would recruit local and protect local so we can eliminate a lot of the gangs. I honestly think people, especially the older people that been in that situation in the gangs, I think they're just tired. They're just fed up. They want to see a change in these communities. LA isn't just Palisades, downtown LA. LA is Watts, Crenshaw, South Central. And these are the communities that we need to tackle.
Misael Ortega Garcia would like your vote to be mayor of Los Angeles. We'll continue the conversation after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A federal appeals court has heard Senator Mark Kelly's case against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The dispute stems from a video urging service members not to follow illegal orders.
They're trying to send a message. If you say something that the president or this administration does not like, they're going to come after you.
Kelly says he never encouraged defiance, only respect for the law. The NAACP is filing an emergency petition to block Tennessee's new congressional map. The group says Republicans improperly dismantled the state's only majority Black district in Memphis. The map was rushed through and signed into law Thursday, sparking angry protests from Democratic lawmakers. And jurors are set to begin deliberations in the murder trial of 4 men accused of killing Florida rapper Julio Fulio. The defendants face first-degree murder charges and potential death sentences in the 2-year-old case. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Sing along to all your favorites when multi-Grammy winners Lady A take over Fantasy Springs Resort Casino May 16th for a night of non-stop country hits. Tickets on sale now at FantasySpringsResort.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Reality is knocking on the Lakers' door with a very somber message. The Lakers simply aren't good enough and don't have a deep enough roster to deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC has a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 semifinal after their 125-107 victory Thursday night. The Lakers played much better than in Game 1, but they never recovered from a demoralizing third quarter. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the bench in foul trouble, OKC used a 22-4 run to erase the Lakers' 5-point lead. The Lakers committed 7 turnovers in the third quarter. Perhaps the most painful stat of the night was OKC's bench outscoring the Lakers' bench 48-20. Austin Reeves had a game-high 31 points and LeBron dropped 23, but the formula did not change. Reeves and LeBron did not get enough help. Game 3 is Saturday night at Crypto.com. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect Black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, Black voices, Black power.
The heat is on.
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected. Stay informed. Stay loud.
Stand up!
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Things are changing fast and no one knows what comes next. Times like these make you realize just how important it is to be prepared. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. They're America's #1 most trusted resource for survival food, solar power, water filtration systems, and more. Go to preparewithamerica.com to unlock a special offer that'll help you get ready for whatever comes our way. Go to preparewithamerica.com to see the special offer right now. That's preparewithamerica.com.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Misael Ortega Garcia is my guest. He's running for mayor of Los Angeles. And we were talking about Leimert Park off the air, and you mentioned that you found it controversial, or you had some kind of thoughts about the idea of Leimert Park being known as Africa Town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I came here about maybe 5 months ago when I decided to run for office. And Crenshaw was one of the regions that I wanted to stop by and look at. And I met a lot of great people here, fascinating people here. I think around the corner, Mel's Tacos. There's a couple of people here like Mel's Tacos and a barber shop around the corner. His name is Greg. And he gave me a tour about Leimert Park, and he showed me about what the city's doing and the name Africa Town. It's Africa Town or Africa City, right?
Africa Town, yeah.
And he didn't agree on that. And I said, why? He said, well, because I'm American. That's what he said. I'm American first, and then, African second. And I said, well, but isn't that your, like, where people come, like, your people come from? And he said, yes, but, our people have died from the beginnings of the Revolutionary War.
And how do you feel about it?
Well, that's a topic that I can't discuss, but I think American should be it. I think if
America first?
No, I'm saying as an African American, you're American, right? And so if you go everywhere around the world, you're American.
Well, Chinese Americans are American, but they still have Chinatown. Filipino Americans are American, but they still have Filipino Town. Well, Armenians are American, and they still have Little Armenia. But why are we the only ones that don't get to have our own?
Well, you could. I would just
cultural hub.
No, you could, but I would just have people in the hub vote instead of just having a group of small people decide what Leimert Park should be named at.
How do you? Okay, you also said you wanted to talk about Watts and South Central, your plans for housing there, your plans for upgrading those neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. I did. And again, this is so basic, simple. I'm a contractor, guys. I build things for a living, right? I know what it costs for labor and material. I know what it costs, to build a home from the bottom to the top, okay? So I'm going to make this clear. Housing is not there's no shortage in housing. It's just people want to be greedy, right? Executive order. This is all common sense from the mayor, right? If you want to build homes and housing and you want to tackle that in these areas, it's very simple. You compete with.
But the mayor is not the president who can just make executive orders in the same way that the president can.
That's correct, because the president has the Supreme Court. The president doesn't really care. He can do whatever he wants to do. Mayor has to go through City Hall. But it's more the influence, right? It's more of her word, right, compared to somebody that's working in City Council. So, again, she has powers. She just doesn't do it. I'm going to be honest with you, right? look, it's very simple. If you want to tackle housing, lower the rent in this region, because I think rent is so high, you compete with the market. You compete with BlackRock. You compete with Berkshire.
How do you do that?
You fundraise. You fundraise.
So we have a bake sale to raise money to pay rent? I mean, against these super corporations?
Well, we don't need them. That's the thing. We don't need them.
Okay, so...
We don't need BlackRock in them, right?
But they're here, so...
They're here, but we can compete with them. The city can compete with them. Like, I'll give you an example. Live Nation. Live Nation is a good friend of ours.
Giant company.
A giant company that does fundraising for people that have AIDS and cancer, right? So why can't we shut down, let's say, Hollywood Boulevard or any kind of block and bring artists, and we from there create and bring the funds, and it goes to the city, and then the city has funds, and we can build our own buildings and put them at $850 for one bedroom. Why can't we do that? I'm just asking questions. Why can't we do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know that you'll raise the hundreds of millions of dollars that you need to build that stuff.
You bring Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's your concept, is to have concerts and bring Taylor Swift to raise money to build housing so we can have affordable housing. Mm-hmm. Okay. You've said you want to raise the minimum wage.
I do.
How do we do that?
Well, you executive order again. You either implement or you go and create a bill and say, hey, look, we need to raise the minimum wage, for an example. And I don't want people saying, well, the price is going to go up. Well, look at In-N-Out. In-N-Out has probably the most amazing wages that there is, but the burgers are cheap. Right? So why can't we create or copy their concept and do it everywhere? Obviously, you have mom and pop shops that probably won't align to it, but people that are making, like McDonald's, Taco Bell, all these corporates, millions of dollars, giants, LLC guys, they should raise the minimum wage. I mean, what are they? They're afraid to take a pay cut? Are they afraid to lose $1 million while they're generating, hundreds of millions of dollars?
So, I mean, it is true that some cities have their own minimum wages, i.e. West Hollywood has a minimum wage that's higher. Actually, I think it's one of the highest in the entire state. But when you talk about state and federal minimum wages, those are not some things that cities can implement. So what you're saying is that the city of Los Angeles
would be the first,
should have a higher minimum wage, even though we do have a higher minimum wage than the state or the federal.
Well, what is minimum wage? Why do they even call it minimum wage? They're kind of laughing at our face, don't you think? Right now, it's survival.
It means that no one can pay you less than that.
No,
but
what I'm saying is the minimum wage. Who's saying that's a lot of money? Who's saying that's a standard? $20? You think that's a good minimum wage? $25? You think that's survival? That's nothing. If you want to go rent an apartment somewhere in LA, it's going to cost you $5,000, maybe $6,000 for one bedroom. What is $25 going to do to you, to a regular person working 2 jobs with 2 roommates? I say go to 45. I say go to 50. Right? This is just
well, I
reality.
mean, a true living wage in LA is about $40 an hour.
Well, but not for the rest of
I mean, I'm saying it should be. That's what it takes to live here. But you're going to get huge pushback from corporations and small businesses.
I'm okay with it. I'll go to war with them. I'll compete with them. That's the issue. But at the same time, we can also help them as well. Again, a lot of these LLC guys, corporate guys, they get write-offs like we've never seen before, right? And so they're okay if they take a pay cut, but I just can't.
You say that, but yet there's a billionaire tax, a one-time billionaire tax, possibly coming up for a vote, and we've already had at least 3 billionaires leave the state because they don't want to pay a little more tax one time only.
Right. Well, they can leave all they want. We don't need them, to be honest with you. We can generate our own ecosystem here in Los Angeles, right? If you want to live in LA and you want to survive in LA, then the wages have to go up to $40 to $45 an hour, right? We can't let greed. We can't feel bad for these billionaires, right? They're going to be good. They're all right. It's the people that are suffering.
Cav Haynes is asking, who's endorsing you at this point?
So right now we're in talks with a few unions. I really can't say who's at the moment, but there are some few union people that are hopefully we're betting that they're going to endorse us in about two weeks. These are the people that we're fighting for. And we're also in talks with the LAPD.
But so far you don't have.
Not yet. No, not yet.
And so far you haven't done any debates.
Not yet. And by the way, I'm self-funding my own campaign, meaning you got a lot of candidates that are asking people for money. I'm not asking anybody money. I'm self-funding. No one's gonna buy me. No one's gonna tell me what to do. And so I just know from a heart. This is a heart. LA is suffering. People are losing their jobs. People are leaving LA. The minimum wage is not survival mode. The rent is too high. And here's my thing, like, if the mayor or city hall were in good stance with the people, she wouldn't have a hard time right now winning this election. And people are just frustrated right now. They just don't know what to do. People are frustrated. That's why you got a guy named Spencer running, and he's probably got donors and special interests giving him the funds because they're just tired of the way LA's going. And
well, special interests and donors they're called special interests for a reason. They have an agenda, and most of those donors have an agenda. Those donors and special interests are always donating to the people that they think will further their agenda. So to say that,
but they're not all bad though.
I'm not saying they're all
Jeannie
bad.
Buss,
but
the owner of the Lakers, she gave a lot of money to Spencer, and she represents LA, right?
What I'm not saying they're all bad. What
Right.
I'm saying is that to proclaim that the reason the mayor is having a hard time is because special interests aren't happy. I think that. I don't know that reflects the totality of the picture. I mean, you have the aftermath of the Palisades fire. You have
immigration.
You have immigration. You have
Black Americans suffering.
You have the pressure on the economy, which is not just a California thing or an LA thing. That's happening. Everyone's gas prices are up. Everyone's food prices are up. And then you have a lot of people who blame the mayor for the Palisades fire because they need someone to blame. And some of us believe that is at least partially racism and sexism coming into play.
No.
You don't see that?
No, I don't. And look, man or woman, if the mayor was Hispanic or Asian, whatever, the fault is there no matter what. And I'm not here to say because she's a woman and color. No, I'm a minority, right? And so I would say this: if it wasn't for the African American, I wouldn't be running as mayor. So we got to give black people their flowers. That being said, again, I'm not judging her based on her sexuality or she's a woman and this and that. I just think that's wrong. But I just think the mayor.
You think it's wrong, but well.
And earlier I said it wasn't the mayor.
No one would ever say, I'm mad at the mayor because she's black, or I'm mad at the mayor because she's a woman. But the way they respond to certain things differs. That's unconscious bias. You did say that earlier. I did hear you. And I know you want to talk about reparations. Yeah.
This is the big one, guys.
And by the way, this is Misael Ortega Garcia. He wants to be mayor of Los Angeles.
So I think it's time that we pay the people that fought for our country, influence our country, and we owe a debt to them, and it's the black community. And I'm going to be real as possible. They came first. They came through the struggles. They went through everything before us did as a Hispanic. And so I believe that it's time that the city pays reparation to the community, people at Watts, people in Crenshaw, people South Central. They deserve a check. They deserve what their ancestors, have fought and died for. They're owed a debt. And that's also what I'm campaigning about. Because look, and I love my Hispanic people, and I'm Mexican American. I love my people. But I just strongly believe that black people in LA are being chased out in their community. They don't have the proper skills and trade to develop in these regions, right? If you're a migrant or if you're an immigrant, right, and you come from a different country, guess where you're going to go? You're going to find connections, you're going to work in construction, and you're going to be getting $150, $200 an hour. In construction, you don't see a lot of African Americans, especially
But
women.
that's partly racism.
Not really. Not really.
Well, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no.
For
If
sure
you're saying
it's racism.
No,
in
absolutely.
construction. And the fact that there's a lot of
exactly.
nepotism even within in the Latino community of keeping black people off those jobs. I want them. Have you been to the Black Worker Center?
Well, I would say this. It's and I agree with you in some certain perspective, but in construction, you are right. There is some kind of like almost like a circle, a small circle. The white man is a contractor, and then you got the migrants that are the laborers, right? Or sometimes the contractor Hispanic, and the laborers are always going to be migrants, right? And so that's what I want to change in my field. That's what I want to do. I want to see more black people learn to become contractors, painters, plumbers, electricians.
But what I'm telling you right now is there are black people waiting at the LA Black Workers Center who are job ready right now, and they're not getting in on those sites.
And let me ask you this: what has the mayor done to I guess help those people that are still waiting? I'm just asking.
Well, she supported the Black
What has the
Center,
mayor's
for
done?
one thing.
What has the mayor's done to the black community to help them? I'm just asking.
Well, why don't you tell me?
Well,
this is your interview
I would
about.
say
I
this.
can, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and I'd say this again. I'm campaigning in these regions. Nobody else is. Everybody's going to Brentwood, Westwood, Palisades, Beverly. They're getting their money from Westwood. I'm in these regions, right, and I see what's going on, and these people are telling me, what has Karen Bass done for us?
But you're just discovering Watts in South Central. I mean, this is your first rodeo with us.
No, obviously growing up in Culver City, right? I've heard and seen, and obviously when you go to Laker games, you go to downtown and you drive around and see what's going on, right? And so, but to actually
go to Laker games.
but to talk to the community, right, and to actually go to the projects, the gardens, the Jordans, the Gonzalez Park, 61st Street and Figueroa Street in South Central. These people are appalled. I remember we did a video maybe last week at Watts, and everybody was just shocked. They were just shocked, like no other candidates ever come over here besides Maxine Waters, which I have a lot of respect to. I think when people talk about Watts, Maxine Waters is Watts, and I have a lot of respect for her. But other than her, there's no other candidates that are there for the black community. I'm just saying. I am just saying. This is what I've seen.
Misael Ortega Garcia is our guest, and we will continue the conversation. He wants your vote for mayor of LA. We'll keep it going when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Fred Martin, founder of Compton Kids Club. I just want to talk about the authenticity and tell y'all about my homeboy, Tom Steyer. Tom is a rock star. When I met him, Tom gave a grant to schools in San Francisco. All the kids were on probation. We were flying instructors for 2 years to come and help those kids doing performing arts and turning their life around. Some of the kids that he supported, they've graduated from UCLA. Let's fast forward. Tom is in schools in Compton, hanging out with the kids in the piano classes. Brother Tom Steyer hangs out in the studio with us. These are the seeds that he's planted. This has nothing to do with elections. What's coming out of his mouth is not a campaign speech. It's authentic, and when he say he walks away from a business because he want to do his values, he ain't making that up because he's running for governor. This man is real.
Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Okay, we're focused on the mayor's race this hour. The mayor of Los Angeles. It's actually getting national headlines. This race, Misael Ortega Garcia, is 32 years old, born and raised in Culver City, and he wants to become the youngest mayor in LA history. He's asking for your vote. You say on your website, basically LA's going to hell in a handbasket. It's kind of the same thing that Councilmember Nithya Raman said when she announced her bid to be mayor. It's kind of the same thing Spencer Pratt says. It's pretty much what the Republicans say about everything. You know, that LA is a hellscape. I love LA. I think that reports of its demise have been greatly exaggerated. Do we have problems? Yes. But I look around and see a lot of greatness. You see a bleak hellscape. Explain to me what your vision is.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because the people that really see the nice sides are the people that can afford living in Los Angeles.
I live in South LA. I love South LA.
But you have an opportunity that not everybody else does.
Okay.
You're not in the same vehicle like everybody else is, right?
Well, no, I don't live in the projects. And I know that poverty is bad in any city, in any neighborhood. Poverty is not good.
Right.
Impoverished neighborhoods, low resource neighborhoods in every state and every city have problems. But to say that LA is a hellscape, it sounds like what we were hearing from Trump as an excuse to bring ICE in here.
It's a hellscape for the minority. It's not a hellscape for a lot of people. You know, if you want to go to Rodell Drive and you want to go to Two Paseo, and you're not going to see a lot of minority people.
So you think
there.
Crenshaw is a hellscape?
I think parts of Crenshaw is developing, but it can do better. Go to Inglewood. I think Inglewood to me
I
is...
love Inglewood. I go there all the time.
I think Mr. Butt, the mayor of Inglewood, I think what he did is remarkable, and that's something that people should look up to. That mayor is a killer. He brought the most expensive stadium in the world, brought the Clippers, right? He converted the Hollywood Casino into something remarkable. That is a true leader. That's a true mayor. But when you have, and by the way, Inglewood was like South Central, was like
South Central. I mean, you make okay. Let me. This is your time.
And the reason why I keep bringing South Central because it's
you're
part
sitting
of
in South Central right now.
Correct, but it's still.
It's really nice, right?
Well, what do you call nice? My nice is different than other people's nice, right?
Wow. Okay. He
my
just
nice,
dissed our radio station.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying my nice when I think of, because you're saying we're in South Central near Lamar Park. We're not near Lamar Park. We're right in it. No, I know, but I'm just saying my nice would be, seeing buildings, seeing beautiful opportunities, seeing beautiful restaurants, seeing, getting rid of the liquor stores, seeing people walking, opportunities, seeing pop-up shops like people in West LA do. That's nice over there. They're having a great time, but they're laughing at us over here. They're saying, ha, look at our county and look at your region, right? And so my nice is different. I want to see people in this region blossoms. I want to see lower rents go down, right? I think paying $3,000. I mean, think about it. In Watts, they're charging for one bedroom. What is it? $3,500 in Watts. Who can afford that over there? It's ludicrous.
They can afford that anywhere.
Come on, And so, look, I'm campaigning for affordability, and this is what makes me different from other candidates. No one's talking about the rent. Nobody's talking. Look, our current mayor is saying, let's put a little tax to the landlord so they don't go, past this tax, or let's freeze the rent. We don't want to do none of that. We want to lower the rent. We want to say, look, we're on minimum wage, right? We can't afford it. I'm getting 2 jobs. I'm having to live with a roommate. My bills are too expensive. Your check shouldn't be 85% and go straight to the rent. It shouldn't be that way. I wasn't raised that way, and it shouldn't be that way.
Misael Ortega Garcia, you've got, give me your 60-second elevator pitch, why we should vote for you.
First of all, because I come with radical views. I come with change. I'm actually campaigning in the streets. I'm not campaigning online. I'm actually talking to people and figuring out what the hell we have to do for the people there to actually survive and live and eliminate the stigma that these regions are dangerous, which are not. It's a culture. These people thrive. They're part of our society. At the end of the day, we must build these regions. Downtown LA, Pacific Palisades isn't just Los Angeles, all right? There's more to cover. And our current mayor is only concentrating in downtown LA and Pacific Palisades. And I love my people in Pacific Palisades, and I'm going to do a lot for them. But there's more to tackle. There's more important things to tackle. We want to put everybody in the same vehicle. We want to put everybody in the same playing field. That's it.
Okay, and tell us how to find you online.
So you can go to my Instagram. We just started it up. It's called let me pull it out really quick. I'm so sorry. It's called it's Ortega 2026. Let me just confirm with that.
I see the website here is voteortega.com. Voteortega.com is the website.
And then Ortega.2026. That's my Instagram. Ortega.2026.
Ortega.2026. Thank you so much for coming in person. It has been a very interesting conversation.
Thank you so much. A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Indeed. The best of Tavis Smiley is next. That means you'll get the highlights from all of the incredible guests that he has interviewed all week long. You can find me on social media at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio, DiPrima Radio, on every single platform. I even have a YouTube channel. Please like, follow, subscribe. The radio station is at KBLA 1580 everywhere, and we so appreciate you engaging with us. Happy Mother's Day, one and all. Have a lovely Mother's Day weekend. I know I'm planning to. Like my mama, the late and great poet Diane DiPrima used to say, the ultimate famine is the starvation of the imagination. Until Monday, be safe, be well, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A federal appeals court has heard Senator Mark Kelly's case against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The dispute stems from a video urging service members not to follow illegal orders.
They're trying to send a message. If you say something that the president or this administration does not like, they're going to come after you.
Kelly says he never encouraged defiance, only respect for the law. The NAACP is filing an emergency petition to block Tennessee's new congressional map. The group says Republicans improperly dismantled the state's only majority black district in Memphis. The map was rushed through and signed into law Thursday, sparking angry protests from Democratic lawmakers. And jurors are set to begin deliberations in the murder trial of 4 men accused of killing Florida rapper Julio Fulio. The defendants face first-degree murder charges and potential death sentences in the 2-year-old case. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Sing along to all your favorites when multi-Grammy winners Lady A take over Fantasy Springs Resort Casino May 16th for a night of non-stop country hits. Tickets on sale